Guyana Defense Force has launched an extensive search and investigation after Guyana Defense Force vessel was involved in a mishap in the Cayuni River. The GDF in a release says several ranks stationed at Iterengbang were in the boat around 20:30 Monday. Several searches were immediately conducted in the general area of the incident, and so far 2 soldiers remain missing. The GDF has since sent a team into the area to investigate the circumstances surrounding the incident, and a board of inquiry has also been launched. Meanwhile, family members of the missing soldiers have been informed by the GDF Welfare Department. The search for the missing soldiers continues.
Thank you for staying with the NCN 6 o'clock news. The recent recall of PNCR Member of Parliament James McAllister has led to a serious battle among senior members of the party as they accused the leader Robert Corbyn of being a dictator. Vincent Alexander in a recent statement said Corbyn must answer to the party's membership why he continues to undermine and weaken the morale and fibre of the PNCR. Edward Lane reports.
Our decisions are not aimed at undermining the party. Mr. Corbyn is single-handedly doing that by himself. Our decision reflects our outrage at the party's continued display of vindictiveness. Despite the best efforts of many, the party under Mr. Corbyn remains mired in old habits and strategies. Those are the words of Vincent Alexander at a recent media conference. The quarrel among senior ranks in the PNCR has widened, as evidenced by these bold statements coming from disgruntled party stalwart Vincent Alexander. Alexander says the PNCR has lost its way in recent years and is in need of new approaches and new leadership. Alexander said the leader of the PNCR clearly felt no sense of shame in removing James McAllister from Parliament. He added that this is not the time for settling old political scores, but to courageously tackle the fundamental problems that prevent the party from re-energizing and rebuilding. After his public challenge for leadership of the PNCR, disciplinary proceedings were instituted against Alexander and his supporters. Alexander had subsequently dropped out of the controversial elections for leadership, saying that there should be a verification of the list of membership eligible to vote at the party's polls. According to him, James McAllister, the fiercest of the fair and the fearless, was identified for special treatment. He was removed without a hearing from elected office in Region 3 and charged with 11 counts of indiscipline, Alexander disclosed. In addition, Alexander said 2 other charges that had been communicated to McAllister were brought and heard in his absence and his guilt determined. Alexander has since described this act by Corbyn as a travesty of justice or a perpetration of injustice. Alexander said that, to wit, this dictatorial power, which is vested in the representative of the list, who in this instance is Mr. Corbyn, exemplifies the political culture in the PNCR that needs changing. Edward Lane, the 6 o'clock news.
A 40-year-old Pleasance man has been fatally stabbed by his stepson during an altercation at Better Hope North, East Coast, Demerara. Reports are that around 18:30 hours yesterday, Ralph Jacobs and his stepson were arguing when a man gave Jacobs' stepson a knife. The accused dealt Jacobs several stabs about the region of the heart. Jacobs was rushed to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. The suspect is in police custody, assisting with ongoing investigations. Cuba on Monday renewed its cooperation with neighboring CARICOM countries, with Haiti, Guyana, Jamaica, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines in line for some immediate benefits. Assistance will take the form of health, education, and energy, as was among the broad areas discussed at the 3rd Cuba CARICOM Summit, which was held in Cuba on Monday. Edward Lane reports.
Cuban President Raul Castro has specifically announced that 10 new sanitation and public health facilities will be installed in Cuba and another in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. These facilities will be manned by both Cuban and local specialists. Mr. Castro also announced that the collaboration programs would include the creation of 3 new eye care surgery units in Jamaica, St. Lucia, and Guyana, adding to the 2 already in operation in Haiti. In the field of education, he said that 480 university scholarships will be offered next year, 150 of them in the field of medicine. Guyana is currently benefiting from a 5-year scholarship program to train young Guyanese as doctors, agriculturists, and several other specialist areas. This country has also benefited from a free eye care program and a free energy efficiency program, which saw hundreds of thousands of regular bulbs replaced by energy-saving bulbs. He also announced an end to the program to supply free energy-saving light bulbs to the five aforementioned CARICOM states. The president believes Cuba and CARICOM can be proud of their contribution to greater exchanges and closer relations among peoples, as well as the promotion of a more effective cooperation. The Cuban leader further assured his regional colleagues that despite the adverse world economic situation, Cuba would fulfill its promises to its neighbors. Meanwhile, Caribbean leaders called on the U.S. President-elect Barack Obama to end the trade embargo Washington had imposed for more than 4 decades on Cuba in the latest signal to the incoming administration. Obama, who takes office on January 20, pledged he would ease restrictions on Cuban Americans traveling to the island and sending money there, but says he wants to maintain the embargo to press for changes in the communist-run country. Edward Lane, the 6 o'clock news.
Public Utilities Commission Chairman Justice Prem Prasad says GWI has to conform to the Commission's order in connection with water rates being charged, but GWI says it is moving to the courts on the matter. More from Monica Jones.
The Public Utilities Commission had issued a statement advising consumers not to pay any additional, inflated or illegal charges for water which may appear on their bills. This stemmed from complaints by consumers of being overcharged for water consumption, and in an interview with NCN, Chairman of the PUC Justice Prem Prasad said GWI will have to conform to the order.
They have made orders fixing the rates. We don't want confrontation in GWI, and we expect that they're going to comply with the order made by the PUC.
But GWI CEO Karan Singh described the move by the Commission as irresponsible, noting that persons will be disconnected for non-payment. The water company has since decided to take the matter to the court. Mr. Singh had said that the Public Utilities Commission is being unfair to the water company since it says nothing about high bills by GPL, but Justice Prasad refutes this claim.
The GPL has never refused to comply with any order made by this commission and has been towing the line. We've never had any problems.
The Public Utilities Commission is responsible for monitoring, regulating, enforcing service quality, and dealing with customer complaints. Onika Jones, the 6 o'clock news.
A United Nations report indicates that diagnosing infants soon after birth and providing a course of medical action can significantly improve their chances of survival. UNICEF Executive Director Anne Veenman says survival rates are 75% higher for HIV-positive newborns who begin treatment within their first 12 weeks. In Guyana, prior to 2001, 35% of HIV-positive pregnant women passed the disease on to their children, but currently only 4% of those babies are infected. Guyana moved from having no PMTCT service to delivering at more than 100 clinics in 6 years, where 90% of the women have access to the service in their neighborhood.